package. My name is Owen, and allow me to introduce myself. I am the savior of entertainment and the prophet of joy, and welcome back to the show. Last time we talked about the Columbus Blue Jackets. I put that one out last night. It's actually doing kind of okay, for my channel standards. And right now, it's a team. Last time we talked about a team who has playoff hopes this season, maybe in the future as well, depending on some guys progress or not. And they have an opportunity not to win the cup, but to start something, to start the process of becoming a cup contender. Today, we have got a team that, on paper, shouldn't be that bad. But I'm fearing the worst for this upcoming season. The Dallas Stars are a team that made it to the playoffs last year. They actually got the fourth wild card spot over the Nashville Predators, which I was actually in the game in person, where the Predators lost from a comeback victory from the Coyotes, which is an insane story. That one of the best games, probably the best game I've ever been to, the most enjoyable and crazy one. But they beat out the Predators to get into the playoffs. And which kind of goes to show just how, Dallas, this team right here last season, if this was a team in the East, they'd have zero chance of even coming close to the playoffs. So it just kind of goes to show how uneven the two conferences are. Because a team like this somehow makes it to the playoff, but a team like the Blue Jackets last year, or a team like even the Devils, get screwed out from it, this type of team. I'm pretty sure the Devils would beat this team any day of the week. But anyways, that's a whole other story. Let's talk about the good before the bad, of course. So the good for the Dallas Stars, of course, is Jason Robertson and Jake Ottinger. And really, their top line. Their top line as a whole, and Ottinger, and sometimes Wedgwood, are their strengths. Usually, I call the teams a strengths is they're deep. Or they have good goal scorers. They have some really superstars out front and stuff. They got good defense or something. I can't say the same thing for the Dallas Stars, because there's nothing great about the team as a whole that I can say. I can't say they have great offense. I can't say they have great defense. I could say they have good goaltending, but that's just by shouting out Jake Ottinger, and actually Scott Wedgwood can be freaking incredible. But this is a team that really only has their diamonds in the rough. Because Robertson and Hintz and Pavelski, what a line. What a star line. Who knew that this line of an old Captain American veteran, and you got the two young kids, it would be a top of the line in the league? Who would have guessed that? I wouldn't. Then after that, things start to get interesting. Marchman Ben and Sagan. Ben and Sagan have been going downhill for the last 4 or 5 seasons now. Sagan actually Ben actually had a little bit of bounce back this year, but Sagan and Ben, for the most part, are going down in points every year. They're both paid, I think it was $9 million a year, well, on average. These two guys are killing this team, because Robertson right now and Ottinger are unsigned RFAs. And those two guys, Robertson scoring 41 goals and 79 points on a team like this. Could you imagine what he could do on a rebuilding team like the Detroit Red Wings, or say what if he got traded somehow? Let's say Tampa Bay got him. Tampa Bay could basically sign the deal for the next Stanley Cup right there. Robertson is already a superstar. Imagine what he could do on a really good team where he's not only stuck with this line of guys. Then Rupe Hintz is unlucky that he can't play a whole season. Actually, he did pretty good last year, but 72 points. He's a free agent next year. I don't think restricted next season. Pavelski's coming towards the end of his career, but he's still leading his team in points with 81 points this year. So he's not getting any worse. He's doing, I think, actually, this pretty good season for him. Everything after that, though, is kind of where everything falls apart for this team. The problem is that they signed Marchman, which Mason Marchman looked amazing in the playoffs, and he had a great season with 47 points, started to break out. But the thing is, that's once again a one-season deal. He had one good season, they signed it to a contract, and hoping that he can bounce the same way. Ben and Sagan can't do what they can anymore. If I was the Dallas Stars with this young and up-and-coming team, I would say Ben and Sagan, screw you. I would have done it last season. So then this season I could have gone. Could you imagine if instead they got rid of Ben and Sagan and this offseason they could have tried to get a Goudreau or and keep Klingberg, which I'll get to in a second? That would be a lot better for this team than keeping these two guys who are every year degressing or regressing. Yeah, regressing every season. And then after that, I mean, the second line's okay. If they can stay in there, each of them getting the 40-point seasons that they did last season, that would be great. That'd be fine. That's a solid second line. But after that, oh boy, you've got, I mean, Yurianov, I really like Yurianov. I've always liked him. I think he could be a really good player. I just think he needs to go to a different team and be put more as a star out there. I think he could easily prove himself to be a great asset for a team. But he's on the third line because he just has less points than those guys, which probably won't happen this year. But after that, you got Foxa, solid third line guy, whatever. Studnich, whatever you say his name, 4 points last season. Not very good. Kiviranta, the guy that was a 4-goal scorer in their playoff run to get to the finals, only had 7 points last year. I think it's Jacob Peterson, is that his name? 17 points, not that bad. And Glenn Denning, a really old guy that should somehow not, he shouldn't be in the NHL anymore, but somehow still is, 16 points. This team, terrible depth. And then defense is where things seem to go bad. A team that I would say needs a superstar defenseman. They lost Klingberg, Heiskanen, a guy that seemed every year to have all the skill in the world, just hasn't really broken out yet, and he only gets 36 points last season. Ryan Suter, an old guy, only 32. Lindell, 25. Hakanpää, 12. Harley and Miller, 4 and 14. This team all around is just missing everything. This team is so middle of the road, it's unbelievable. The thing about the Dallas Stars is that, what did I write on the back of this thing? Whatever, sorry. Anyways, this team needs a lot of things to be a good team to go into the playoffs. Somehow in the playoffs, actually, no, that's not true. The Dallas Stars are a team that really need a lot of things. They need a change out of Ben and Sagan, and they need to bring in some better faces, because right now, this team is relying that Robertson, Hitz, and Pavelski are able to perform the same way, at least if they can sign Robertson, Hintz and Pavelski to perform the same way next season, and Robertson at least stay the same, if not better. And then they need to hope that Marchman stays the same, if not better, and doesn't fall off, Ben to fall off, and Sagan to fall off. Which Ben hasn't been really astounding in a while. Like, he's gotten pretty good seasons, 60 points or something, but 46 and each year going down. Last year he had 30-something. Sagan, I think, could bounce back. I feel like Sagan actually could, but after that surgery, he kind of's never, ever been the same. And then there's just too much missing on these bottom lines. If they could get, like, a Kiviranta to bounce, like, back and somehow be the 4-goal scorer in a playoff game again, that'd be great. But even on defense, it's just so middle of the road. This team is made up of not top players. It's like they're just somehow putting together a team. Hakanpää, Miller, and Harley are not a good bottom three. Suter somehow, I'm surprised, is still playing. Lindell, 25 points. Heiskanen and Lindell, it's unfortunate for them. I mean, those two guys could be great defensemen. Maybe it's the team that they're on, but I just feel like those two guys are kind of stuck at like second line defenseman roles. It's really a shame that Jake Ottinger's isn't probably going to be moved. But if the Dallas Stars wanted to be serious, they would get rid of Ben and Sagan to re-sign, to get Ottinger and Robertson to big deals, have enough space to bring in a couple guys that are actually are good performers that they know of, and then they can maybe start something going forward. Because does this team make the playoffs? No, they definitely don't. If they do, it's by sheer luck. But this year, with the Knights bouncing back, the Ducks probably being there, the Kings once again coming back, and then there's too many teams that are going to be better this year that the Dallas Stars are not going to be as good. and they're going to be pushed out of it. Unless Jake Ottinger can push them over the line. If they re-sign him, that is, of course. But I would say no, they don't make it. If they do make it, they don't make it past the first round at all. This team has mediocre written all over them. And I don't see any way that they can really go above mediocre to bad. So, the Dallas Stars are not going to be good this year. They're going to be very mediocre. They're not going to be bad enough to tank for like a Bedard, but they're not good enough to make it to the playoffs, which once again is the worst place you can be as a hockey team or any team in any league. So I guess until next time, that's all I have to say about the Dallas Stars. So I guess if you liked this video, please make sure you pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. Hit the little bell that pops up next to it. Leave a like, not a dislike, but you can go down below to the comment section and tell me any suggestions, feedback, reviews, and any other sorts of rants, opinions, and tangents you'd like to put down there. And tell me, do you think the Dallas Stars make it to the playoffs this year? If not, where do you think they end up in the standings, or at least in the Central Division? And I guess until next time, I have been the party. Owen. Too sweet. And ta-ta for now.